You might be doing everything right, wearing flattering outfits, keeping up with your skincare, even putting on that signature lipstick that always makes you feel put together. But still, something feels off when you look in the mirror. Could it be your haircut? Yes, it could. And here's the part no one tells you: there are certain haircuts that, without warning, start working against us after 60. Not because we've done anything wrong, but because we've changed. Our face changes, our energy shifts, and our hair, it needs to evolve with us. Hi, and welcome to Healthwise for Seniors, the space where elegance, confidence, and timeless beauty aren't tied to age but to awareness. If you're new here, I'm so glad you've joined us. And if you've been part of our community for a while, you already know, this isn't about chasing trends, it's about making smart, graceful choices that reflect who we are right now. Now, I know, the title of this video sounds a little dramatic. Avoid these 5 haircuts. But I want to be clear. This isn't about shaming your past choices or forcing you to change what you love. This is about helping you understand why some styles might no longer flatter your features the way they used to, and showing you beautiful alternatives that bring softness, lift, and life back into your look. So before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button if this already sounds like something you've been thinking about. Share it with a friend who's ready for a little hair transformation of her own. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. We have so much more to explore together. Ready? Pixie cut that's too short, when less hair means less softness. Let's talk about the pixie cut, a classic favorite among women of all ages. It's easy, chic, and undeniably confident. But here's the truth many women over 60 quietly discover. A pixie cut that's too short and too tight to the scalp can actually harden your look, rather than flatter it. Why does this happen? Because the ultra-short pixie removes all softness from the face. It exposes every feature, forehead, temples, jawline, with no hair left to create balance or subtle framing. At 60, when our skin naturally develops more texture, fine lines, and slight volume changes, this kind of harsh exposure can highlight age instead of celebrating it. And it's not just about appearance. A too-short pixie often strips away the sense of movement, that light sweep of bangs, the gentle tousle with your fingers, the freedom to shift your style day to day. Instead, the cut becomes rigid, leaving you with one fixed look and very little room to express mood or elegance. Now let's be clear, pixie cuts aren't the problem. The wrong pixie is. If you love short hair, and many women do, opt for a longer pixie with soft layers. Keep a bit of length on top, allow some side-swept bangs to graze the forehead, and don't shave the sides too close. These small tweaks can transform your entire vibe. Look no further than Jamie Lee Curtis, a brilliant example of how to wear a pixie with power and grace. Her signature short style is never skin-tight. Instead, she embraces a slightly tousled top, gentle edges around the face, and a touch of volume at the crown. The result? Strong, feminine, and completely age-appropriate. A short haircut should still offer you freedom, to style, to soften, to shine. Because after 60, you're not looking to prove anything. You're not chasing trends, you're defining elegance on your own terms. And that starts with a haircut that doesn't erase your softness, but instead enhances it. So if your pixie cut feels more like a helmet than hair, it might be time for a quiet update. One that whispers, "This is me today, strong, soft, and beautifully in control." The bowl-shaped bob, when a safe cut starts to work against you. You've probably seen it before, the rounded bob that hugs the head like a helmet. It's clean, it's tidy. And for decades, it was considered a safe choice for mature women. But here's the hard truth. This cut might be doing more harm than good for your elegance after 60. The biggest issue with the bowl-shaped bob isn't just the shape, it's the distribution of volume. By placing all the fullness around the crown, cheeks, and neck, this style can visually widen the face, shorten the neck, and make the head appear heavy or disproportionate. Instead of lifting your features, this cut drags everything down, creating a stiff, outdated silhouette, the exact opposite of the graceful movement and natural beauty we strive for in later life. The problem is not the bob itself, but the way it's cut and structured. A traditional, evenly rounded bob lacks layers, flexibility, and most importantly, flow. It locks your hair and your style into one fixed position. Every day starts to look like the last, and not in a good way. Let's be honest, we want our hair to move with us, to reflect how we feel. Some days we want polish, other days, a little playfulness. But the bowl bob offers no such freedom. It's rigid, heavy, and difficult to style differently without feeling like you're working against its shape. And the worst part, it often ages the face unnecessarily. It creates what I call the hard cap effect, where the hair acts more like a helmet than a flattering frame. It draws attention to the jawline, doubles down on cheek volume, and hides the natural angles that give your face expression and personality. So what's a better option? Try a softly layered bob that hits at the chin or collarbone. Instead of one blunt line, ask your stylist for long, subtle layers that create movement, a slightly angled shape that follows the contour of your face, and textured ends that allow air and lightness. Take inspiration from women like Martha Stewart. Her chin-length bob is classic but never heavy. Or Nancy Pelosi, who wears a polished bob with gentle curve and movement. These aren't helmet styles, they're power cuts that still breathe and float. This kind of modern bob flatters your natural features. It doesn't overwhelm them. It adapts to your mood, your outfit, your energy, and that's what real elegance after 60 looks like. Remember, you don't have to cling to a cut just because it once worked in your 40s. Your face has evolved, your style has evolved, and your haircut should evolve with you, gracefully, softly, and always with intention. Messy short layers, when youthful volume backfires after 60. Let's face it, layers used to be magic. In our 40s and 50s, a layered cut brought movement, bounce, and a youthful energy we absolutely loved. But there's a line between soft dimension and total disorder. And for many women over 60, messy, overly short layers are that line crossed. At first glance, this kind of haircut might seem fun and edgy. Salons often suggest it to add volume to thinning hair, promising lift at the crown or body around the face. But the reality? These choppy, uneven layers tend to age the face, not flatter it. When layers are too short at the top, poorly blended through the lengths, or styled in a way that looks overly fluffy or spiky, it creates a look that feels chaotic, not chic. The shape collapses after the first wash, styling becomes a daily battle, and you end up with a haircut that looks more tired than youthful. And let's not forget, our hair texture changes with age. Grays, finer strands, and reduced oil production mean hair behaves differently now than it did at 30. Messy layers can quickly turn into a frizzy halo, especially in humid climates, making your overall appearance look unstructured and unkempt, even when you're trying your best. This is especially problematic for women with naturally curly or textured hair. Many have been told that short layers will tame their curls, but the opposite is often true. Overlayering leads to dryness, breakage, and a puffball effect. The curls lose their pattern and the hair loses its health. So what's the alternative? If you love layers, and many women do, the answer lies in longer, blended layers that are cut starting below the cheekbones or shoulders, softly tapered instead of chopped, and shaped around the face in a way that enhances bone structure, not overwhelms it. For women with straight or fine hair, subtle layering can add life without sacrificing polish. For curly-haired queens, consider rounded cuts that follow the curl's natural bounce, not fight against it. Think of women like Andie MacDowell, who embraces her silver curls with volume that's full but never messy. Or Oprah, whose stylists create beautifully layered shapes that maintain form and texture without chaos. Here's the key. Volume doesn't have to mean mess. At this stage in life, we deserve hair that works with us, not against us. A good cut should hold its shape, reflect our energy, and frame our face with intention. It shouldn't collapse by day 2 or require 45 minutes of heat styling just to look okay. And above all, you should never feel like your haircut is making you look older. Messy, short layers may promise youth, but elegance after 60 comes from structure, soft baby bangs, when a trendy fringe becomes a harsh frame. Let's talk about baby bangs, those super short fringes that sit way above the eyebrows, often used in high-fashion editorials and edgy street styles. On a 22-year-old model, bold; on a woman over 60, usually a misstep. Here's why baby bangs expose everything. Your forehead, expression lines, uneven skin tone, sunspots, all of it becomes front and center. And while there's nothing wrong with those natural signs of life, a good haircut should balance and soften, not highlight areas we may want to gently downplay. The problem with baby bangs isn't just length, it's the lack of versatility. There's no room to part, sweep, or play. The fringe sits rigid and straight, often drawing the eye up rather than into your features. Instead of focusing on your sparkling eyes or beautiful cheekbones, people are looking at a wall of hair above your brows. Even worse, these microfringes require constant upkeep. Because they're cut so short, they grow out of shape within a week or two. Unless you're visiting your stylist every 10 days or trimming with scissors at home, you're left with an awkward in-between length that can feel cartoonish rather than chic. And let's be honest, who has time for that at this stage in life? We're embracing freedom, not maintenance stress. Now, some women are tempted to try baby bangs thinking they'll add fun or edge. But more often than not, the result feels too harsh, too structured, and out of sync with the natural softness that elegance after 60 embodies. So what's the better alternative? Try a long curtain fringe, one that parts softly in the center or to the side and blends into your layers or bob. This kind of fringe frames the face instead of cutting it off, softens the forehead without hiding it, and adds romantic movement without looking juvenile. Take Diane Keaton, for example. Her wispy, side-parted fringe brings life to her eyes and harmony to her haircut. It never looks forced or trendy for the sake of trendiness. Or look at Jane Fonda, who has worn long, layered fringes that add femininity and flair while keeping the focus on her beautiful, expressive face. Here's the truth. Fringe isn't off-limits at 60 plus, it just needs to evolve. Baby bangs belong to another time, another face shape, another energy. What works better now are pieces that move with you, fall gracefully, and support the natural rhythm of your expressions. Because elegance in this stage of life isn't about pushing limits. It's about finding shapes that respect your features, honor your maturity, and whisper, "I've lived, I've learned, and I know exactly what suits me." The heavy, blunt cut, when simple, starts to weigh you down. At first glance, a blunt haircut seems like a safe, low-maintenance choice. No layers, no texture, just a straight line from root to ends. It feels easy, predictable. But for many women over 60, this kind of cut becomes less about simplicity and more about stagnation. Here's what really happens with a heavy, blunt haircut at this age. It drags your face downward. The weight of the hair, especially when it all sits at one level, pulls the eye down. Instead of lifting your features, it lengthens them. The jawline feels more pronounced, the neck more exposed, and the overall look can feel heavier than you are. It flattens your natural texture. Whether your hair is wavy, fine, or straight, a blunt cut eliminates movement. It doesn't give your hair room to respond to your face shape, mood, or even the weather. It just hangs. And that lifeless drop can make you feel invisible, like your haircut is wearing you, not the other way around. It accidentally emphasizes age-related changes. Blunt ends focus attention on the lower third of your face, exactly where time tends to leave its mark. The area around the chin, jaw, and neck becomes more visible, more defined, sometimes more drawn. When hair stops flowing, so does softness. So what can you do instead? The answer isn't radical change. It's gentle lightness. A few long layers, subtle texture at the ends, face-framing pieces that move when you move. These adjustments break up the weight without breaking your style. Think about Glenn Close. She often wears mid-length hair with soft, textured ends. It's still polished, never messy, but it gives her movement, lift, and personality. Or Susan Sarandon, whose layered waves create dimension around her face without overwhelming it. What you want is structure without stiffness. Hair that holds its shape, yes, but also breathes. That moves when you turn your head. That catches light when you walk into a room. That says, "I've refined my style, I don't need to overdo it, but I'll never let it go stale." A heavy blunt cut might have served you well in your 40s, when your hair was thicker, your features firmer, and a bold line felt powerful. But at 60 plus, power comes from subtlety, grace, and fluidity. It's time to retire the weight of habit and let your hair reflect the lightness you've earned. So, now you've seen the 5 haircuts that may have quietly aged you, and the graceful alternatives that bring softness, movement, and modern elegance back into your look. If any of these styles hit close to home, please know you're not alone. We've all had that moment where a haircut we once loved no longer feels like us. That's not failure, that's growth. And recognizing it, that's power. Changing your haircut isn't about chasing youth. It's about choosing confidence. It's about updating the outside to match the wise, radiant, evolved woman you've become on the inside. Maybe today's video gave you the clarity you've been waiting for. Maybe it gave you permission to let go of a style that no longer serves you and try something that reflects who you are now. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me, which style are you letting go of, or which elegant cut are you excited to try next? And if no one has told you this today, let me be the first. You are beautiful, not for your age. Just beautiful. Before you go, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with a sister, cousin, or friend who needs a gentle style refresh, and subscribe to Healthwise for Seniors for more timeless beauty insights every single week. Until next time, stay radiant, stay wise, and never stop evolving.